Well, what week this has been. Do you want to have a look? Anyway, I'm now here in the famous lift that's taking me for my coffee of the day. We are doing coffee with Guillem. I've got some news to tell you. I have as well some matches to analyze, and I want to talk in detail about Simeone and the situation of Atletico Madrid. But as I say, first of all, I need me coffee. Cakes? No, not cakes. Un caffè solo? This normally gets done outside, but it's raining, so I'm not going to do that today. So I'm doing it from inside of the Isa Cafe. And the news is that Coffee with Guillem is in association with Viaplay.
Premier Sports becomes Viaplay.
But you can still watch La Liga and the Spanish football games the same way as always. And the new Viaplay app. So get it. This will be now, from now on, in association with Viaplay. And the first thing I want to discuss with you today is Simeone and Atletico Madrid. Things are not right, and it feels very much like the end of an era. But of course, somebody has to say enough is enough. And the club have got no intention of doing that. They're sending very strong signals or leaks saying Simeone is here to stay. The players are doubting Simeone. Simeone has decided to take Atletico Madrid back to 2014, if you like, but he hasn't got those kind of players that battle for everything. I know that he won the league after that, but the personalities that he's got on the changing room and the qualities as well, it's not what he wants to do with the team. He doesn't have that in the team. So there are moments of peaks, but then it goes down, and of course being out of Europe altogether, it's a failure. Quite clearly, Atletico Madrid is saying first time in 10 years, and that is fair, that is true. But I heard in El Partidazo last night, Juanma Castaño talking about we all know he's got a contract until 2024, but if Atletico Madrid do not qualify for the Champions League next year, there is the possibility of the club saying that's it, end of, without having to pay Simeone if they get rid of him. And Simeone can do exactly the same. He can say, I've had enough, or it's my time to go, and he won't have to compensate the club for leaving. That's if they are not in the Champions League next season. The likelihood is that they probably will be, but still doesn't get away with the fact that it seems like it's a tired idea. He may implement this somewhere else and it all will feel fresh. Right now, I think the players are doubting. And when that happens, that seed of doubt is the beginning of the end, and has been there for a while. In fact, Atletico Madrid were thinking perhaps reaching point of no return before the pandemic, but then Simeone wins the league and it's like, well, what can you say? But you saw since that moment that last season he was very poor, this season exactly the same, too far away from the top. Obviously Champions League is the target, but it just doesn't feel this exciting. The football is just not exciting enough, not enough collective answers when they have the ball, and that is the players are to blame as well, but certainly it feels, I've got the impression that under different hands this could be a very exciting Atletico Madrid. You know what hands? German hands. Tuchel hands, for instance. It's a physical team. They are strong, but they're not playing in a modern way. And I think the likes of Tuchel or a Nagelsmann and Roger Smith, like what he's doing at Benfica is brilliant. He can do it at Atletico Madrid, but at the moment the club says no changes. Atletico Madrid face Espanyol, and quite clearly it's a game that they had to win, having lost against Cádiz, but it was the first defeat in 6. Things were going well after being beaten by Real Madrid before the international break, and now they have only one competition to concentrate on, and La Copa del Rey, of course, but especially the league. So expect them to get the target of being top 4, which is of course the minimum target that the club require. If Atletico Madrid have got problems defensively, having conceded more than 1 goal per game, well, how about 20 goals conceded in 12 games of Espanyol? This is a team that surprisingly enough got more points, one more anyway, away than at home, so they are able to surprise many. I do feel that Espanyol are really just a moment away from things started working, but they need new players, so the break won't come early enough for them. They need a player per position for sure, a centre back, midfielders, and something different up front too. And that won't come until January. So meanwhile, it's about to get as many points as possible in the next few games. But Espanyol have known to surprise giants in recent times. Barcelona play Almeria, and let me concentrate on one thing about Barcelona. Lewandowski, it's actually 13 goals in 12 appearances, and he was absolutely key for that late goal against Valencia to get the 3 points for Barcelona. But at Bayern Munich, he was the guy finishing things. At Barcelona, he's got to do much more. So how long he can maintain this goal scoring ratio, it depends on the side. If they improve and he has to do a little bit less, that will, I think, benefit him. How do you do that? Just being more compact, just trying to work in the way that Xavi wants. But the players are happy to push it towards more direct football, box to box. At some point, that benefits Lewandowski, who's very clever when there is spaces. But at the same time, you tire him out, you tire the whole squad out. There's a World Cup in the middle, and we will have to see how everything comes from it afterwards. But in any case, Lewandowski is doing what he's been asked to do. But, as I say, having to do more by himself, creating more moves that get converted into goals that he used to do at Bayern Munich, where he just was the one finishing the moves. Almeria couldn't find where the goals were when Umar Sadiq left for Real Sociedad. In fact, in October, they lost the 4 games that they had, and they just couldn't score. And now they've managed to get 3 victories at home, consecutive victories at home, and 9 goals being scored as well. Why is that? This is an interesting process that happens with a lot in modern football. New manager comes in, 16 new players at Almeria. It doesn't know what they like, how they can link to others, if the position they're supposed to play is the one that suits the team, how to play the team together. There's been a lot of counter-attack. Ruby prefers a 4-3-3 with more control of the ball. A little by little is happening. Meanwhile, it's not just the centre forward that's scoring the goals, Balague Touré, but more players are actually intervening in offensive moves, and they also have got a good ratio defensively too. So the balance is arriving, and Almeria, that I would have said, obviously in October, having more nothing, that the candidates to get relegated, now they just get the head out a little bit and they can breathe, and I think more points are going to arrive, perhaps not against Barcelona. Having said that, I checked the competitiveness of La Liga, and I put a tweet out about, in Europe, we lost competitiveness, but at the same time, La Liga is the most competitive league in Europe. How did I come to that conclusion? Because 5 different European winners in the last 10 years, that's how. I know the league can say that, but also take the 2 at the top and the 2 at the bottom. That's the teams that are doing really, really well or really, really bad, just to check how competitive it is compared to other leagues. The point difference between 3rd top and 3rd bottom, and it's 13 points. No other league in Europe has got this closeness between 3rd and 3rd. So that tells you that there is a lot of competition, that the teams are taking points from everyone, and that's something that La Liga should be proud about. Money has been distributed more evenly. It can be improved, I'm sure, but that means that those that have less have been very clever how they use their finances, and they've been getting players that allow the team to get better and the league to be more competitive. Rayo Real Madrid would be one of those games that I wouldn't say automatically that this is a Real Madrid win. Rayo Vallecano, for instance, have managed to get points out of the big sides that they faced. Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, they drew. They beat Sevilla as well. And they play, for me, the most European, how can I put it, type football there is in La Liga. That is constant pressure. When they get the ball, they attack. They are direct, push the ball forward. And as I say, when they lose it, they recover it as a unit. And it's constant attacking on the flanks, putting crosses in, a lot of players in the box, that kind of thing. That obviously you need to prepare for it in training. You need the physique of the players, and perhaps that's where Rayo Vallecano suffers a lot. The idea is good, but the individuals perhaps lacking a bit. And you have to have quality when they have the opportunities up front, and they also lack a bit of that. But in any case, that puts them mid-table. And I think if they went into Europe, they wouldn't do badly, say, the Europa League of the conference, because this is how football is being played these days. High tempo, constant interventions, offensively and defensively, not a moment of rest. And that against Real Madrid will work because Real Madrid like to slow things down a little bit. There's a lot of energy in the side, but if the likes of Kroos and Modric play, then they like things to go quiet. In any case, they did impress against Celtic, but in the league they haven't been at their best. They still managed to get the points because they've got Rodrigo. If Benzema is not well, Rodrigo's doing the Benzema role, because you've got Vinicius scoring, because you've got Valverde in a fantastic form. Is he one of the top 3 players in the world? I don't know, but certainly he's actually scoring a lot of goals from distance now that he's getting to the target of I think it was double figures that Ancelotti wanted. Now Ancelotti says, get me 15 goals, and I think he can. He certainly is becoming one of the best, most influential players in Europe right now. I picked 3 of the games, but there are more. There are more games throughout the weekend, starting Friday and continuing until Monday, that Rayo Vallecano Real Madrid game, and the rest of the Saturdays and Sundays is full of really good fixtures. And next week there are 2 fixture lists, so we'll find some time to do a coffee with Guillem and put.
From the 1st of November, something's changing. Premier Sports becomes Viaplay. This means the same sports as before, but topped up with more premium sports rights. Plus, a new top streaming service filled with films, series and documentaries. All new entertainment for the same old price. See you on Viaplay.
After doing the video, we heard that Gerard Pique, we heard from himself in a lovely emotional clip on his social media that he's retiring.
Culers, sóc el Gerard. Fa setmanes, mesos, que molta gent parla de mi. Fins ara no he dit res, però ara vull ser jo el que us parli de mi. Des de molt petit, jo no volia ser futbolista. Volia ser jugador del Barça. Últimament he pensat molt en aquell nen. En què hagués pensat el Gerard de petit si li haguessin dit que compliria tots els seus somnis. Que arribaria al primer equip del Barça, que guanyaria tots els títols possibles. Que seria campió d'Europa i del món. Que jugaria al costat dels millors de la història. Que seria un dels capitans. Que faria amics per sempre. Ara fa 25 anys que vaig entrar al Barça. Vaig marxar i vaig tornar. El futbol m'ho ha donat tot. El Barça m'ho ha donat tot. Vosaltres, culers, m'ho heu donat tot. I ara que els somnis d'aquell nen ja s'han complert, vull dir-vos que he decidit que és el moment de tancar aquest cicle. Sempre he dit que després del Barça no hi hauria cap altre equip.
First thing to say is that what Tito Vilanova, the former manager of Barcelona, who of course sadly passed away, said of him, everything that happened at Barcelona and the Pep Guardiola wouldn't have happened without Piqué, because he was the centre-back that defended well, was fast in defensive transitions, built from the back, and understood very quickly how important it was the role of a centre-back. Very competitive, fell asleep a lot of the time during the games, but had Puyol next to him waking him up, and generally he made Barcelona what it was with the help of everybody else. But you needed that kind of centre back that Sir Alex Ferguson didn't realise that he had, or maybe didn't need. He didn't need that kind of centre back for the Premier League, but it was needed for Barcelona in the way they wanted to do things. And it brings a lot of memories. I could be an hour talking or more about Piqué, but I'll take you to, I was driving my car to Old Trafford with him on the passenger seat, and he got a call and said, oh my God, Radio Nacional de España, which is the national radio of Spain, ringing me and they want to talk to me. This is a 17-year-old Piqué. I said, but you must have done interviews before. No, it's my first one. Oh, okay. I said, remember one thing. The question that you get asked, the listeners will forget straight away. So just think of an answer and then just say the answer. Or whatever they ask you, it doesn't matter, because listeners will forget the question. So that was at a time where actually he didn't know how to manage the message. Since then, he has become his own media man, and he's been in Periscope and Twitter and active as well. Not so much lately, but active as well in Twitch and etc. He's got his own company, Cosmos, which deals also with multimedia and all the businesses. And I think that's where he's heading next. He's going to go to the States, I've got the impression, away from everything. He's got to sort out, obviously, his own personal issues, marital issues, and he will go there with his kids and just away from everyone, trying to think what next. But I think he's got the idea of returning to Barcelona. A legend goes, somebody that not everybody like within Barcelona. For instance, the tension with Laporta in recent weeks meant that Pique only told Laporta a few minutes before the clip went on air that he was leaving, so he didn't consult anybody at the club. And one of the reasons why he's decided to leave now, he's been converted into a villain. Not to the point where everybody agrees he's a villain, so he's left at the right time. But obviously the club was pointing out of his huge wages when he's now the fifth centre back in the team. He was very poor against Inter, for instance. And as you can see in the video that he's posted at the beginning, is criticisms from people from all sides saying, he's got to go, it's finished. That has been an important part of the timing of his decision. And he always said that if he left, it would be just to retire, not to go to another club. He's felt that the club was helping with that vision of him. So he said to the club that he will not get paid the 40 million euros that he would have earned until the end of his contract. But there is other money that the club owes him, having moved wages during the pandemic to be paid in different years. That will have to still be paid. In any case, I think Pique wanted to leave on a high, more or less done it on a high. His career was nosediving, and it was time for him to move on. The surprise for everyone was that he's decided now. But as I say, the club wanted to push him out as soon as they could, so they can use the money of his wages for somebody else. And that's it. A legendary player in many aspects, as I said, not liked by everyone, controversial often. So we'll wait for him to become the chairman of Barcelona at some point.